defenders right there. I can pick a name.
Well, did the private attorney?
Oh, now I remember. So we do need to bring him out.
Yes.
All right. When you're able in the next minute. Okay, if you can do it, let's bring Mr. Pierce out, please. He can be here or at the podium, whichever you prefer. Hey, Mr. Pierce. Good morning. When we last spoke, which was in mid-December, you were telling me that there was a lawyer you were planning on hiring, or your family was, someone, you were going to retain a lawyer. So, all right, we need to be moving your case forward, but I'm going to give you about a month. Now it's been actually almost a month and a half. I need an update from you, because if I look here on in the system, still no entry of appearance, which says to me you have not hired someone. And so we need to have that conversation about, are you representing yourself? Am I appointing a lawyer to represent you, or what?
I have some things that I got wrote down that I like to address.
Well, we're going to start with my question, which is, are you hiring a lawyer, or should
I'm American State National. I'm representing myself. I can't be represented by attorney. I'm American State National.
Okay. So you think you want to represent yourself?
I don't have, because I'm not under the jurisdiction of the government. You can let me, I got stuff that wrote down, which is all, this is tied in together. You let me sit my paper down and read it out to you.
So I'm going to let you do that. We're going to do that today. We're just not going to do it right now. I needed to get your update so I could figure out what else we were going to do today. And I'm hearing you say you're not hiring an attorney, but you also don't want an appointed one because, and you'll tell me later, you're an American national. I don't mean to use your words. You're going to tell me why you think you should represent yourself. You have a right to represent yourself, but I have to have a conversation about that. And I'll certainly want you right there where I tell you all the reasons why it's a bad idea to represent yourself. But in the end, it's your call. It's not mine. I won't say no. If you say, no, Judge, I get it. I know that I won't have someone helping me on the outside. I won't have someone who knows all about the law this way and that way. That's okay. That's a decision for you to make. But we're going to have that conversation on the record. And during that conversation, if there are things you want to tell me about the fringe on the flag and whether you're under the jurisdiction of whatnot, I'm happy to listen to that, and we'll go forward. But we're going to do that a little later this morning, okay? All right. Thank you, Deputy, for bringing Mr. Pierce out. We'll get him back out. Hey, Mr. Pierce, I gave you some bad info. I am running into a whole lot of cases that we need to resolve, like people are going to plead guilty. So you and I are still going to have that conversation about you representing yourself and your rights and jurisdiction. Promise you that. We might not fit it in today. And so I didn't want you to be surprised if these gentlemen take you back downstairs. It's not because I'm ignoring you in any way. I will get you back here soon so we can have that very same conversation. You can have all your papers with you. You'll get to be front and center, and we'll talk about all that, okay?
Is there a way I can give you a copy of my American State National standing right quick?
If it's a copy you don't need anymore, you can leave it with the deputy, and he'll get it to me, okay?
I got a copy for the DA, the court clerk, and you.
Fantastic. If you leave that with me, I'll make sure it gets to all those people.
Okay.
All right.
I also filed my executive letter. I got it sent to certified mail. And I also filed a pro se ex parte written prohibition.
Welcome back to Courtroom Chronicles, where we dive deep into real-life courtroom drama and break down the cases that leave you shaking your head. Today's hearing features Mr. Pierce, a defendant who insists he's not under the court's jurisdiction because, according to him, he's an American state national. Now, if you've never heard that phrase before, buckle up. It's a concept rooted in pseudo-legal theories that claim individuals can opt out of U.S. law simply by declaring themselves sovereign citizens. Sounds wild? That's because it is. In this tense exchange, the judge must figure out whether Mr. Pierce understands what he's asking for representing himself in a murder case. Yes, murder. The stakes are sky high, but Pierce remains adamant that the government has no authority over him. Throughout this video, you'll witness the patience of the court tested to its limits, a defendant convinced of his own legal invincibility, and a judge trying to maintain control and fairness. Stick around, because the twists here aren't just legal, they're psychological. How does a person charged with such serious crimes end up arguing about flags, contracts, and sovereignty instead of evidence? And does self-representation ever end well in a murder case?
I'm hanging in there. It's been a long day, but I'm sure it's been a long day for you as well. Whoop. Let's get your stuff all situated.
Y'all sit down, man. Y'all sit down.
Okay, well, you've waved to him, but this isn't a place where we have that kind of conversation. You bet. Mr. Pierce, when we were last together, we had a conversation about representation, and you told me that you wanted to represent yourself. You didn't want a lawyer appointed, and you weren't going to be hiring a lawyer. And I said, we can have that conversation. That's an extended conversation, judge and defendant. And I'm ready to do that so that we can move your case forward. Otherwise, you're kind of stuck until we clear that hurdle. You have a right to represent yourself, but I need to make sure that you are knowingly invoking that right and intelligently, which is not me telling you you're not intelligent. I just need to make sure you understand the consequences of self-representation. So that's what I was hoping we could get through today. But I always want to start by saying what is on your agenda so we can see if there's anything else.
I'm American State National, and I can't be represented by no attorney. But I have a lot of issues with me being a national that I want to address. You said you were going to let me hear me. You're going to let me address all my issues last time I was here about me being.
Well, I did say that, but I said if you're going to address issues, I need to make sure you're representing yourself. Okay, but if we're going to do that, we have to have my conversation first. I'm required by law and by the Constitution to go through a few things to make sure it's appropriate for you to represent yourself. So you can want to do it, but I got to make sure
Things start to unravel. Mr. Pierce is introducing what's known as a sovereign citizen argument, the belief that by declaring himself an American state national, he somehow operates outside the law. The problem? Courts across the country have repeatedly rejected these claims. Yet, we see this strategy time and again, defendants trying to sidestep criminal responsibility through pseudo-legal jargon. Notice how calm the judge stays, though he doesn't ridicule Pierce. Instead, he keeps the hearing grounded, gently steering it back toward the practical question, are you hiring a lawyer or not? This measured patience is key, because one wrong reaction could escalate the situation.
Right.
All right. Did you ever get your GED?
Yes, sir.
When did you get your GED?
2017.
Excellent. Are you able to read English?
Yes, sir.
I know you can write in English because I got these and you actually mailed me something that
Yeah, I wrote you a letter.
about 200 pages long. All right, so you can read and write and you can speak English. Have you ever worked before?
Yes, I have several jobs.
Tell me what kind of work you've done before.
I worked for Dollar Tree when I got arrested. I worked there for Airmark. I worked there for the Move Theater in North Carolina. I have my own landscaping business. I have my own record label. I worked at McDonald's, Burger King.
You've had a bunch of jobs. Got it. All right, that's helpful to know. I appreciate you sharing that. Have you gone to law school?
I haven't gone to law school, but I have practiced. Not practiced. I've been studying law.
You've been studying the law. Tell me how you've studied that.
Just reading, researching different case laws, sending out for different statutes and codes and things of that nature.
Sure. Has all of your legal study been while you've been in jail, or have you also done legal study when you were out?
Both in and out.
Okay, got it. Have you ever watched an entire criminal trial before, start to finish?
I done been to trial before.
So you've watched one then?
Yes.
Okay. What was that trial about?
Armed robbery. The 10 years I just did for armed robbery.
So you were charged with armed robbery,
Yeah.
and that case went to trial.
Yes, sir.
So you were there from jury selection all the way through verdict.
To closing argument. I stopped before closing arguments and took 10 years.
Oh, you pled guilty.
Yeah,
Got
I
it.
tried right before they were finna come out for closing argument.
So you've seen 95% of a trial.
Yes, sir.
All right. You ever watched a trial on TV?
Yes, sir.
What kind of trial?
What that movie that's so called? Law and Order.
Okay, you've seen that kind of stuff. So you've seen the made-for-TV stuff.
Right.
But you've been in a real one. You were a participant in a real trial.
Yes, sir.
How long ago was that trial?
2016
Where?
here.
Fulton County.
Yes, sir.
Who is your lawyer?
Kevin Farm, he's a judge now.
He is. That's a
Yeah.
small world.
Yeah.
All right. Have you ever represented yourself in a criminal or a civil case before?
No, I haven't.
This would be your first time.
Yes, sir.
Got it. Have you ever gone to a doctor or a counselor to get treatment for any mental health issue?
No, sir.
Depression or bipolar or anything?
No, sir.
Okay. Tell me why you think you would do a better job representing yourself than a trained lawyer who went to law school and has done trials before would do.
Because by me being a Mr. National, a lawyer only subject me to the jurisdiction.
So hold on 1 second. Yeah, you got it. So the court reporter needs to be able to take down what you're saying. What you're saying is important. So just don't rattle the change, and then she'll be better able to hear you. So you were telling me by being an American
State national, and by me being a national, I can't be represented by an attorney because attorney automatically subject me to.
Judge deserves a medal for composure. Rather than dismissing Mr. Pierce outright, he walks him through the legal reality. Yes, you have the right to represent yourself, but it's a terrible idea in a serious criminal case. Judges are required to ensure a defendant's choice is knowing and intelligent, meaning the person fully understands the risks. Imagine walking into a high-stakes murder trial with no legal training, facing prosecutors, evidence procedures, and cross-examination. The judge knows what's coming, and you can hear that cautious tone in every word. He's not just protecting court protocol, he's protecting Pierce from himself.
Sounds like you may think a lawyer would do a better job, but you don't want a lawyer because you're worried that would subject you to the jurisdiction of this court.
I know for a fact it'll subject me to the, because a lawyer is on as an officer of the court, and by them being an officer of the court, it automatically subject me to the court's jurisdiction.
Okay, well, indulge me for a minute and assume, you may think I'm wrong, but assume that I've decided that you are subject to the jurisdiction of the court. And you say, Judge, you're wrong. Okay, but I get to make the decision initially, and then you go to the Court of Appeals and they'll say McBurney was right, McBurney was wrong. But if I've decided that this court has jurisdiction over you and this case and your co-defendant, do you want me to appoint you a lawyer because you're stuck here anyway, or you still want to represent yourself?
I still want to represent myself because I'm not under the court jurisdiction.
No chains.
Okay, my bad. My apologies. I'm not under the court jurisdiction, and I've been studying it long enough. Almost my whole family is nationals, and we know pretty much a lot about it, and we know for a fact the only way I could be subjected to a court jurisdiction is through a lawyer, because the birth certificate is a void contract.
Marks a key turning point. The first hearing wraps up with polite confusion and paperwork, but the real battle begins in the second hearing, the so-called Faretta hearing. This is the court's official process to determine whether someone is mentally and intellectually competent to represent themselves. It's not about intelligence, it's about understanding the stakes. The irony? Mr. Pierce seems more confident than ever, preparing documents, citing laws, and asserting sovereignty. But confidence doesn't equal competence, especially when the penalty could mean decades behind bars or.
And through that contract, that birth certificate contract is what makes me subjected to the court jurisdiction.
Okay. I'm going to stop you again, not because I'm disagreeing with you. I am disagreeing with you, but we don't need to resolve that right now. I want to keep going with the discussion about representation. Before I get to the next question about the consequences of self-representation, if we fast forward and play this out, eventually you are either going to be pleading guilty in this case or you're going to trial. You're going to disagree about jurisdiction. I'm going to be very respectful and say, you know what? I hear you, Mr. Pierce, and you don't think I have jurisdiction or this court has jurisdiction over you. And I may be wrong about that, but we're still moving forward. Here comes a jury. We're going to do the trial. And so we'll go through that whole process. And I may be told I'm wrong by the Supreme Court, and then I'll have to fix that, and I will fix it. But there'll be this trial. You're going to want to represent yourself, even though we're going forward with it.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what you're charged with in the indictment?
No, I haven't had. I know what I'm charged, but I haven't had nobody come talk to me about nothing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know.
Well, that's because you said you don't want a lawyer. And so this is what we're getting into. No one's going to come talk to you about what's going on. I'll make sure you get the discovery, the paperwork in the case.
And when would I? When
Well, it's complicated. We can get you the paper stuff pretty soon.
Okay.
But if I'm making this up, I don't know what's in the case. But if there's video, let's say there's surveillance video, I can't give you that at the jail. That's on a disc. What are you going to do with a disc at the jail? You can't watch that. You don't have a way to watch that.
I mean, I would be signing a private investigator too, right? By me.
Witnessing is a masterclass in judicial restraint. The judge isn't arguing, he's building a legal paper trail that will hold up on appeal if Pierce later claims his rights were violated. Every yes, sir from Pierce and every I understand becomes part of that record. Yet underneath the polite surface, there's a philosophical tug-of-war. Pierce sees himself as a free citizen beyond the reach of government. The judge sees him as a defendant charged with murder. The gulf between ideology and legal reality couldn't be
Well,
wider.
you can hire anyone you want, but I won't be providing you money to go hire an investigator because you're saying I'm handling it myself. I got this. Mr. Pierce has it, which means your family they could be helping you, or an investigator or something like that. Or there may be some way, and I can't teach you how to do it, where you could petition to get funds for an investigator, but that's not for today. One of the consequences of representing yourself is there isn't someone who comes and sits down with you and say, let's look at this discovery. Man, the way the police handled that looks like that's a problem to me. I've been a lawyer for 20 years. I've never seen a police officer do that. That's something a lawyer could tell you after he or she reviewed all the discovery. And you won't get you're not.
Pierce believes that hiring a lawyer automatically subjects him to the court's authority because attorneys are officers of the court. This is a fundamental misunderstanding of how law works. A lawyer doesn't create jurisdiction. Jurisdiction exists because the alleged crime happened in that state. The judge's patience here is remarkable. He gently but firmly dismantles the claim, offering logic instead of ridicule. Still, you can hear Pierce's unwavering conviction. It's almost tragic. He's articulate, even intelligent, but trapped in a legal fantasy that could cost him everything.
I mean, you could look at it and say, hey, this looks suspect, but you'd be making that decision without a lawyer helping you think about it if you represent yourself. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But you seem concerned that someone hasn't already come to the jail to talk to you about what's in the indictment.
I'm not concerned. I was just,
Okay.
wasn't informed on it. I
Right.
know I was supposed to get a discovery package at least, or
Well, not
maybe
yet.
report an indictment or something.
You will get it if in the end you convince me that I should let you represent yourself, then you will get all that stuff. But no one should have given you anything yet because we're on hold. Is he going to have a lawyer? Then we give the discovery to the lawyer who works with you on that. Or is he representing himself? Then we give the discovery to Mr. Pierce. And right now you're saying, I want to represent myself. And if we get through this conversation, then you'll start getting discovery. Let me tell you what you're charged with in the indictment. Count 1 charges you with murder, and it alleges that you and Mr. Baker shot and killed Samuel Curtis Harris Jr. That's count 1. Counts 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are all, and 7 and 8 are all what we call felony murder, which is you and Mr. Baker caused the death of Mr. Harris by being involved in a different crime: attempted robbery, armed robbery, aggravated assault, being a convicted felon, and having a firearm. Although that's just Brandon Baker. Brandon Baker apparently was a convicted felon at the time of this murder, and the murder was in February of last year. Oh, you are too. There you are. So you had a felony conviction as well. You and Mr. Baker are charged with attempted robbery, and the allegation is, and again, these are just allegations. It's not proof of anything, but it's letting you know what you're charged with and what.
And that wraps up the hearing of Mr. Pierce versus reality. What we've just seen isn't just a courtroom exchange, it's a cautionary tale. The right to self-representation is sacred, but when misunderstood, it becomes self-destruction. Mr. Pierce's reliance on pseudo-legal jargon, birth certificate contracts, fringe flags, national status only isolates him further from the court's reality. Meanwhile, the judge models professionalism under pressure, balancing empathy with authority. So, what do you think? Should judges be more forceful when defendants go down these sovereign citizen rabbit holes, or does patience like this serve justice better? Drop your thoughts below, let's talk about it. And if you found this breakdown as fascinating and frustrating as we did, hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe for more courtroom showdowns and real legal analysis that cuts through the confusion. Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and stay informed.